What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Marketing Tip Tea Time at 2:22. And we're back at it again. A little bit of a delay there due to some technical difficulties, but we're rolling, we're ready to go, and we're excited to be back for another episode. And that was
we
cool.
are.
Yes, and today we have a very cool subject we're talking about today. Aaron, would you like to introduce that?
I am going to introduce that exact subject, Josh, in just 1 second. I have one shout out to do today, probably more, but I'm only going to do one. And that is happy birthday to Kim Fisher, Miss Fisher. She is my old English teacher from Greeley West High School.
Go Northridge.
Greeley, Colorado. Go West. Go Spartans. And I've got my didgeridoo here. If you saw the story that we had earlier, I was playing the didgeridoo, so I'm going to do happy birthday on the didgeridoo. Here we go. This is not traditionally...
Is your helmet going to get in the way of that?
No, it'll be cool.
Okay. Yeah,
I have not practiced this before, but it's traditionally not played this way, but this is how we're going to do it. Happy birthday, Miss Fisher.
Yeah!
Oh, fantastic.
Happy
So,
birthday.
today is a very exciting day for marketing because we, Josh and I, the two humans here on this show, are going to be discussing with you at home, if you're a business owner or if you're just curious, how to utilize first-party data, why it's important, what it is, what you should be doing. Super duper important. There's a lot of stuff going on with data right now, and first-party data is the #1 direction to go. It's the most valuable of all of the types of data that you can have as a business or a marketer, and it is also the most versatile, so you can do a lot with it that you couldn't otherwise do with other types of data. It's just super cool.
And it's pretty important, and you got to have it. But first, Aaron,
Oh,
the most important part of the show.
my gosh.
How can we forget?
Oh, the tea.
Our tea for today. So today we are drinking Stress Relief by Yogi with kava. If you've ever had kava before, it makes you really, what would you say? Just really
Relaxed.
mellow and
Yeah.
chill. Yeah.
It's like, think about sitting on a beach, the sun's setting, there's a light warm breeze, and it's like Hawaii. You can hear the waves, and you can hear the trees mimicking the waves and the breeze. It's like you're drinking that.
That's pretty much what this tea is
Yeah,
like. Yeah,
exactly.
just like that, yeah.
So thank you, Josh. Thank you, Josh. If you could get a little on my computer, I would appreciate it.
Yeah, that's why we got the warranty, right?
All right.
Cheers to that.
Now, today we're going to be talking about data. Now, I know we've been inundating you with all this data stuff recently. It's like, what the crap, man? So much talk about data and technical things. Data. But let me tell you, there are 3 main types of data. Actually, let's try this real quick as I'm talking.
Cheers.
Cheers. Astronauts have it hard. Anyway,
Yeah, jeez.
there are 3 different types of data that we usually look at. Those 3 types are first-party data, second-party data, and third-party data. I'm going to go through the differences a little bit right now. So, I mean, what even does that mean? What are the differences? Well, first-party data is the information that you collect directly from your audience. Now, why is that so important? Usually, first-party data is consented, so they have already given their consent to give it to you. That's when they purchase something, or if you have them sign up for a newsletter, or if you have them fill out a survey. It includes all of those types of things, and you get it directly from them, so you don't have to worry about all this laws about getting it from a second party or whatever Google's giving you. You own that data. And it's really great because then you have that, and if you do it correctly, which we're going to talk about in a second, you can actually store and segment this data in ways that are very valuable for your business. Second-party data, now this is actually generally considered a bad practice now to obtain second-party data from other people. Second-party data is any data that an organization gets and then you purchase or get from that organization. So they own it and then you purchase it from them. Now the reason that that is frowned upon and is considered an unethical practice now generally in many circumstances is because it's very difficult for the user, so the person who gave that data to the initial organization, it's really hard for that consent. So if I collect the data and then I'm going to sell it, I have to be very transparent with the consumer, whoever I got that data from, about where that data is going, and then I'm profiting off of their data. Most people don't do that, and it's really hard to follow the trail of where that data goes. So that's why it's considered kind of an unethical practice to bulk buy secondary data. The only way that it's ethical now is if you buy that secondary data in some sort of a report. So ISB, what is it called? ISB World.
Yeah.
Those types of reports that are aggregate where companies get them, turn them into aggregate information, and then you buy a report. That's obviously fine. But if you're buying the raw data, not super great. And then there is third-party data, which is getting increasingly more difficult to use. And it is any information collected by an entity that does not have a direct relationship with the user that the data is being collected in. So when we run ads on Google, and Google takes that information, packages it into aggregate, and then gives it back to us, that is considered third-party data. We are getting the data from the platform that we're using, but the platform doesn't really have a direct relationship with the customer. We're the ones who have the direct relationship with the customer. So, Facebook, Google, TikTok, all of those types of things can be considered third-party data, but in some instances can also be considered first-party data.
That's absolutely right. And as advertisers, that third-party data, super useful to us for targeting purposes. But as we touched on in some previous episodes, that's gotten more and more restricted as time has gone on, which is why first-party data is even more useful. So let's talk about that. Why is first-party data so useful? Well, basically, it comes straight from your customers, your audience, right? And that in and of itself makes it super valuable. It's easy to collect and manage. You can use really any data management system to manage that. And then privacy concerns surrounding it are minimal because you know exactly where it came from and you own it because it's first-party data. So those privacy issues aren't really an issue with first-party data, as opposed to the third-party data we've been talking about. That was in our last Marketing Tip Tea Time episode.
Yep.
Not an issue with first-party data, and that's super valuable. So yeah, that really makes first-party data king. Taking control of this data should be a top priority for businesses. You can get a lot of value out of it. With this
Giant value.
big value, right? And you can monetize that, learn from it, use these data assets to scale valuable audiences, deepen engagement with customers, and improve overall ROI. And a lot of that ties into, if you have more information to work with, your marketing efforts, maybe it's an email campaign, can be a lot more tailored to that audience, right? If you know their age, right, you're going to be, the message you're going to convey will probably look a little bit different to a 20-year-old as opposed to a 60-year-old, right?
Exactly.
You're going to use different copy, right? You might use different structure in, say, an email. So that data is super valuable for making that content relevant to that target audience. Yeah, and like we said earlier, because this data comes with consent, of course, that first-party data is completely legal in the eyes of all the new data laws. So super valuable, and as we've talked about before, that's the regulation on that, on these new data laws is getting stricter and stricter. Yes. So just makes first-party data even more important and even more beneficial.
Mm-hmm. That it does, Josh. Now, I just want to say to our audience out there, before I move on to the next topic, well, not topic, but our next point. And that is, if you have questions that are burning inside your skull while you are sitting there watching your screen, be sure to put them in the comments and we will do our best to answer them live for you. And also, if you ever think, damn, I just really want to know X. I don't know what that would be, but as it relates to marketing and business, go ahead and send that to us. Comment or email us, and we will try and get that into a show.
Yeah.
We want to engage our audience.
Yeah.
And also, if you're watching, just go ahead and give us a wave. We have 4 people watching. They're probably all my parents. Phil, I am gonna wear this the whole time. It is extremely hot. I am sweating. Yeah, a lot. It's hot in this.
That must
but
be like
you
a
know what?
sauna in there.
It's fine. Okay, so what can you do with first-party data anyway, Josh? Who cares about first-party data? I'm gonna tell you who cares about first-party data, and that's everyone. All right, everyone cares about it, and that's because you can customize, and customize the crap out of your first-party data. Now, what does that mean? When first-party data is used in omni-channel marketing, and I'll define that real quick, omni-channel marketing is marketing with multiple channels. So you could have Facebook, Google, email, magazine. That's omni-channel, when there are multiple channels that you are using to market your business or organization, okay? In an omni-channel type of marketing strategy, the way that you take that first-party data and then package it is super important, because you can do emails, you can do text campaigns, you can do mailing campaigns. Now, we don't think that is as effective as digital marketing, but some people still do that, and some people still get results from that, so we're not gonna bash on that. But what I will say is that you can customize their message, their journey, their action, even the device and the way that they want to get that message. You can customize that. So some people might say, you know what, I want a mailer over a text message. Obviously, those are probably, like Josh was saying, your 60-plus-year-olds. But in that instance, you are able to customize the message to the different segments that you've created within your first-party data, because you know about them, you've asked for that information, and you can get them right away. And also, they've opted into that communication, so they're more likely to open the communication instead of it just being kind of a random ad or a cold message somewhere living in the world. So that's why it's really important. And you're able to build a much, much deeper relationship with your customers. You can basically reach out and hold their hand with this kind of a strategy. And that's because you have probably given them something for them to come in and then be part of your community and your first-party data. And if you segment it correctly, you can just keep giving them content and different products and things that they're already looking for, because you've built a kind of like a persona, a profile around them. And that's with all the information they've given you. I mean, I'm going to give an example here, and that is one of our clients, Color World. They do a lot in the anime world. And we are in the process of segmenting all of the customers they've ever had. It's a little over 10,000. And what we're doing is we're going in, and every person who's made a purchase, every time there's a purchase, that's first-party data. We have that data. We know who made the purchase, how much they purchased, what they purchased. So what we're going through everything, and we're seeing what they bought. So, oh, they bought a Hangout, oh, they bought an autograph, and they like these specific anime. So let's say somebody really loves Dragon Prince, and we've identified a group of 1,000 people who are super fans of Dragon Prince because they've always bought Dragon Prince things. Well, now what I can do is, the next time I have a Dragon Prince event, I can really focus on those 1,000 people that I know are predisposed to buying that because they've purchased that in the past. It's just so damn genius. And if you do it right, I mean, it's just really, first-party data comes down to fostering an intentional relationship with your customers. That's what it is, using the information they give you to foster an intentional relationship with them. And that's where you'll win. It's a little more complicated because there's a lot more people and there's a lot more data, but it would be the same as if you own a hardware store and Bill from down the street comes in and you know what kind of tractor he has and you already know the parts he needs. That's the same exact thing, it's just digital now. So that's what it is, building building the bridge, the relationship with your customers.
Exactly. Super key in that engagement and follow-up stage.
Kava tea, recommend.
It's really good. So, our last point. So let's talk about some key tips for first-party data.
Key tips.
Key tips. So, number one, most important, okay, get consent, okay? You need to get consent for people to share their data with you, okay? Now, how do you get this? So, you really have to incentivize your audience to have them give you their consent. And you can do this with things like giveaways. Maybe you could have a, exclusive access to exclusive content, things like that giving that data will allow you that access, right? You gotta really incentivize it, and yeah, maybe it's, through the giveaway, maybe you are losing some money up front, but like we've mentioned before, especially in that last point, this first party data can be super, super valuable in terms of boosting your ROI and increasing long-term value with your customers as well, or lifetime value.
Yep.
So
LTV.
it's it's definitely worth it. So what kind of things can you be getting from this first party data? I mean, you could be collecting things like name, email, phone number, birthday, right? Pretty key, we touched on that earlier. Super important for segmenting the audiences, right? Because the messaging you're going to want to have is going to be different between the 20-year-olds and the 60-year-olds, right? Things like addresses even. These are going to help you build your preferences profile for each audience segment, okay? Think about how King Soopers works with their coupons, right? Whenever you go there...
How the crap do they know when I need bacon? Every time, boom.
They just know because when you go there to purchase, right, what do you enter in for the discount at King Soopers? Your phone number. And what's associated with that? Well, your account when you signed up. And that has all of your first party data, right? You've given consent for that. So they have your information like name, email address, phone number, right? And they can track your purchases, right? So they can recommend relevant items that you're likely to buy based on your purchase history.
And for example, I buy bacon quite a bit, and King Soopers sends coupons for bacon. I'm not going to fight that. That just makes me love King Soopers more. If they're going to give me a discount for bacon, like, let's go.
Yeah.
Have all my data.
So yeah, King Soopers has it pretty well figured out for that engagement and follow-up stage by using that data properly, right? Properly leveraging that. So yeah, it's just super valuable with keeping those audience segments highly engaged and giving them, relevant, useful, and timely content as well. Just so, it matches up with them perfectly, and they want to come back for more.
Exactly. Now, we have a fantastic question from one of our super fans, Daniel, at Daniel James Media. You hear his name a lot because he is one of our biggest supporters.
Money Brew.
He's in the office where we are now. With an old email list that has first-party content, so how long can you use it for? Well, the general rule of thumb, Daniel, that we've stumbled across is that it's all about intent. So if, for example, if I own a business and then somebody gives me their information for that business, if I create another business or something adjacent, you don't want to cross that over. So even, for example, for Zova, we have like a client email list, which are clients that we have, and then we have like a newsletter email list. Those actually don't overlap because we ask for consent for each specific type of communication we're going to be sending out. But then, like for instance, we haven't sent out an email for ourselves in a long time, just at Zova, but we can, always send out another one. People, if they're already in the list and you're just doing the same thing, you can use that for as long as you want. Like I could wait 10 years and then pick up that email list again and go. It'll probably be outdated. But the thing is that it's really important in your emails to have an unsubscribe button. Some people will subscribe, honestly just for the little perk or whatever it is, and then they'll want to unsubscribe or they'll want to take their name out of your pool of data. And it's just really important to honor that. If somebody says, hey, I don't want you contacting me anymore, I want to be taken off of this, just do it. But if they don't contact you, then generally it's an okay thing to do. Or if they don't unsubscribe, then you can just keep kind of rolling with that.
And make it easy to unsubscribe too.
Yes.
How often have you been on an email list that it's complicated to unsubscribe? You have to go to their website, you have to sign in, you have to go through 3 steps, click unsubscribe there.
Don't be
Right.
that person.
Give an option in the
Yep.
email
Exactly.
right, directly there. Right?
Exactly. How can you get my bacon purchase history? Well, Phil, there's a couple of different ways to do that. I'm not sure where their servers are located, but I'm sure you could probably hack into their servers and find out, because it is digital. That is, they just print out the coupons, but it is digital, so you could probably do it that way. You could probably try and use my phone number too, and maybe you'd get something. I'm not really sure. They might have profiles and stuff. Those are a few tips, maybe, Phil, if you want to go ahead and try and get that information. Yep, thank you, Daniel. Thank you. Perfect. Phil, I wouldn't be surprised if you could buy it, honestly, on the dark web somewhere. But, maybe, honestly, King Soopers, I think, has a pretty strict, policy about protecting that data, so it might be pretty hard, but you could try,
Yeah, never know. Dark web, right?
Exactly. Well, are there any other questions from our audience right now? Anyone?
Only if they're about bacon, though. Only bacon questions.
I don't think there's any other questions. Hi, Mom. I know you're watching. And John, probably. And my dad, who is
Hi,
also...
Aaron's parents, and John, and Daniel, and Phil.
All right, everyone. Well, thank you for joining us for this fantastic marketing tip tea time at 222. Once again, I am one of the 2 humans here to service you with marketing knowledge. And our second human is the wonderful... Josh French, who's putting his helmet on now. We're going to depart back into space, and until next time, which is going to be the last Friday of August,
Thanks for joining us.
Nasravi.
Cheers.